Good evening, everyone. I want to talk about something that's probably hit every single one of us in some form or another: disrespect. And I'm going to start with a simple truth. You will be disrespected. You will encounter people who try to belittle you, undermine you, or treat you as less than you are. It's inevitable. But how you respond to that disrespect, that's where your power lies. I know what you're thinking, but I want to say something. I want to defend myself. I want to make them see what they did to me. And I get it. It's natural to want to stand up for yourself when someone crosses the line. You might feel the urge to retaliate, to scream, to show them that you're not someone to be messed with. Disrespect is inevitable, but how you respond defines you. Throughout life, you will encounter moments where others try to undermine you, belittle you, or treat you with an unjust lack of regard. It might come from people you least expect: friends, family, colleagues, or even strangers. Whether it's a comment that cuts deep or an action that wounds your spirit, the reality is you will face disrespect at some point. But here's the thing. How you respond to that disrespect will tell you more about yourself than it will about the person who disrespects you. It's easy to get caught up in the heat of the moment, to want to lash out, retaliate, or engage in a battle of words. The desire to prove yourself, to stand up for your worth, is natural. In those moments, you might feel like you need to fight back, to let the other person know that their behavior is unacceptable. But often, these reactions come from a place of emotional impulse, not from your higher self. Responding out of anger or frustration only feeds the negativity and drama. It's important to realize that every time you allow someone else to control your emotions, you are giving them power over you. When you react impulsively, you hand them the reins of your peace. Instead of letting your emotions dictate the outcome, pause for a moment and ask yourself, is it really worth it to engage in this battle? Your true power lies in how you choose to respond. When you remain calm and composed, even in the face of disrespect, you demonstrate your strength and your maturity. You show that your peace is not for sale, that you are not going to let someone else's negativity ruin your day or your sense of self-worth. By staying quiet, you refuse to let their actions dictate your emotional state. Instead, you rise above the situation, holding your ground in silence. It is not about avoiding conflict. It's about choosing not to give in to the chaos that disrespect tries to stir. You don't need to react because you know that the situation, though painful, does not define you. You have the choice to walk away from the toxicity without engaging in the cycle of negativity. And when you choose to remain silent, you give yourself the opportunity to reflect on the situation without making rash decisions. You don't need to engage in a war of words when someone insults or disrespects you. Instead, by staying quiet, you focus on maintaining your composure, your dignity, and your energy. You don't waste time or words on someone who doesn't deserve it. There is a profound power in silence, in choosing not to lower yourself to someone else's level. It is in this silence that your strength shines the brightest. And here's something important to remember. Karma is real, and it will always take care of things in the end. You don't have to be the one to correct people's behavior or teach them a lesson. In fact, trying to force someone to understand the error of their ways often just prolongs the negativity. Karma, on the other hand, works quietly and relentlessly. People who disrespect others will eventually face the consequences of their actions, whether they realize it in the moment or not. They may not learn right away, but eventually the universe will balance things out. You don't need to get involved in that process. Let karma do the work. By staying quiet, you also allow the other person to reveal their true character. They may not see it in the moment, but by showing them that their behavior doesn't get a rise out of you, You expose their insecurity or need for validation. You don't need to point it out. The way they treat you is a reflection of them, not you. Your silence allows their disrespect to speak volumes about their own shortcomings, while your restraint speaks to your inner strength. Ultimately, staying quiet after disrespect is a conscious decision to keep your peace intact. You're choosing not to let someone else's negativity dictate your emotional state. By letting karma speak for you, you step out of the conflict and preserve your energy for things that truly matter. Silence is a powerful response, not weakness. In a world where noise and drama often dominate, it can be difficult to understand that remaining silent in the face of disrespect is actually one of the strongest things you can do. When someone disrespects you, whether through words, actions, or attitudes, it's natural to feel that urge to defend yourself, to retaliate, to prove that you are worthy of respect. But what if the most powerful thing you could do in that moment wasn't to speak at all? What if staying quiet was your greatest strength? First, let's consider what happens when you engage in the disrespect. When someone tries to belittle you or insults you, it's easy to get swept up in the emotional reaction. You might feel compelled to respond, to argue back, or to show them why their actions are wrong. But every time you do this, you enter into their world, their drama, their toxicity. You hand them the control over your emotional state. In that moment, you are no longer in charge of your peace. They are. And when you let others control your emotional response, you give away your power. This is where silence becomes your greatest ally. By choosing not to react, you stop the cycle of negativity before it has the chance to escalate. Silence is not about being passive or avoiding confrontation. It's about making a deliberate choice to keep your energy focused on the things that truly matter. When you stay quiet in the face of disrespect, you refuse to give any more energy to someone who isn't deserving of it. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need to justify your worth. You don't need to convince someone who has already shown they don't respect you. Instead, you preserve your energy and maintain your dignity, refusing to stoop to their level. Silence is a way of telling yourself and the world that you are above the petty drama that disrespect often breeds. Remaining silent allows you to maintain control over your emotions and actions. Think about it. When you engage with someone who is disrespecting you, the interaction often becomes about their behavior, their words, and their actions. You get caught up in defending yourself, explaining your side, or trying to make them see things your way. But what happens when you don't engage? What happens when you simply stand firm in your silence? You take the power back. You stop being an active participant in the drama and instead take the high road. You choose not to let their words, their disrespect, or their actions affect you. In that space of silence, you hold the power to stay calm, centered, and focused on your own peace. There is something incredibly strong about choosing silence over a knee-jerk reaction. It takes immense self-control and maturity to resist the urge to lash out, to stay composed when everything inside of you is screaming to respond. That's why silence isn't weakness, it's strength. It's the strength to choose peace over chaos, to walk away from conflict instead of diving into it. It's the strength to recognize that someone's disrespect doesn't define you and that your response can either elevate or lower you. When you stay silent, you are choosing not to let their actions dictate your emotional state or your sense of self-worth. In the long run, silence speaks louder than any words could. When you choose to remain quiet after being disrespected, you send a message. I don't need to stoop to this level. I know my worth, and I won't let anyone's negative energy affect who I am. You let your actions, or lack thereof, demonstrate that you are not someone who can be easily rattled or intimidated. In a way, silence becomes a shield that protects your peace, your confidence, and your sense of self. What's even more powerful is that by staying quiet, you give space for karma to do its work. You don't need to be the one to call someone out or make them see the error of their ways. Karma will take care of that. People who disrespect others often end up facing the consequences of their actions, sometimes in ways they never expect. You don't need to be the one to make them realize what they've done wrong. You don't need to force an apology or an explanation. By staying silent, you allow karma to step in and handle the situation in its own time. And let me tell you, karma is always right on time. Choosing silence in the face of disrespect is not weakness. It's a display of emotional intelligence, self-respect, and confidence. It's the quiet power of knowing that your peace is worth more than any fleeting need to prove yourself. When you stay quiet and let karma speak, you preserve your energy for the things that matter, while allowing the universe to balance the scales in its own way. Karma will handle what you don't need to. In a world that often feels like it's driven by instant gratification and quick reactions, it can be tempting to want to take matters into your own hands when someone disrespects you. The urge to immediately correct the wrong, to call someone out, or to demand justice can feel overwhelming. However, there's a deep wisdom in recognizing that not everything requires your direct intervention. Sometimes, the best thing you can do is nothing at all and let karma handle the situation. When you stay quiet in the face of disrespect, you are allowing the universe, not your own emotions, to step in and take care of what needs to be addressed. Disrespect is often a reflection of the other person's issues, not yours. When someone disrespects you, it's easy to feel personally attacked, but in reality, their behavior is about them. It's about their insecurities, their need for control, or their own unresolved issues. Engaging with them in a moment of disrespect gives them the power to pull you into their drama, their negativity. The mistake many of us make is believing that it's our responsibility to correct their behavior, to teach them a lesson, or make them see the error of their ways. But that's a trap. In fact, when you engage, you're only prolonging the conflict and giving it more weight than it deserves. The truth is, you don't have to carry that burden. Karma, however, does not operate under the same constraints. Karma is a law of the universe that operates independently of our personal judgments or actions. It is impartial and works on its own time, without needing us to step in. What you may not realize in a heated moment of disrespect is that karma is already at work. The disrespect someone shows you is often a reflection of their own unresolved pain, and that energy has a way of coming back around. You don't need to worry about how or when this happens. Karma has a way of aligning things just when they need to be. In the end, the person who disrespects you will face the consequences of their actions, whether it's through the breakdown of their relationships, their professional life, or their inner peace. When you stay silent, you're not being passive or letting things slide. You're allowing karma to do the heavy lifting. You don't have to intervene or force the issue. Instead, you are preserving your peace, maintaining your dignity, and letting the natural order take care of the wrongs. People who consistently disrespect others often find that their actions lead them into a spiral of negative consequences. Maybe they lose respect from others, or they face setbacks in their lives because of their own toxic behavior. This is not your battle to fight. By staying quiet and holding your ground, you give the universe the space to right the wrongs in ways that will make the most impact. The beauty of karma is that it doesn't require us to get involved. It doesn't need us to make the first move or to teach someone a lesson. Karma handles the balance in ways that are often far more effective than any words or actions we could deliver. The truth is, people who disrespect others rarely realize the impact of their actions in the moment. They often don't see the long-term consequences, but karma does. While you might want to react, to step in and make them understand, karma will make sure they face the full consequences of their behavior in due time. Your job, in this case, is simply to step back, stay quiet, and trust the process. Choosing to stay quiet when disrespected is a conscious decision to let go of control. It's a decision to stop worrying about the other person's actions and to focus on your own peace. By doing so, you also open up the space for karma to do its work. You're not letting someone walk all over you. You're choosing to rise above their disrespect and trust that the universe will handle what you cannot. Karma is a powerful force that never forgets. When you let it work, you remove yourself from the equation and allow the natural order to take its course, ultimately leading to a more satisfying resolution than any confrontation could provide. By stepping back and letting karma do its work, you show a level of maturity and emotional strength that only comes from truly understanding that you don't need to fight every battle. Sometimes the most empowering thing you can do is trust that the universe will balance the scales when the time is right. Your silence maintains your dignity and peace. In moments when you are disrespected, it can feel like an immediate need to defend yourself, to make sure the person who has wronged you understands the hurt they have caused. It's natural to want to stand up for yourself and demand respect. However, in choosing silence over reaction, you preserve something far more valuable: your dignity and your inner peace. When faced with disrespect, your response, or lack thereof, holds more power than any words or actions that could follow. When you speak out in the heat of a moment, responding to disrespect with anger, frustration, or hurt, you invite chaos into your life. You engage with the negativity, giving the other person the power to dictate your emotional state. The disrespect that was meant to hurt you may start to linger in your mind as you replay the words or actions, and your own emotions may spiral as a result. But when you stay silent, you stop the cycle of negativity before it can take hold. You refuse to let someone else's disrespect become a storm that takes over your life. Silence, in this case, isn't passive. It's a powerful act of choosing peace over conflict, of protecting your dignity by not lowering yourself to the level of someone else's negativity. In moments of disrespect, people are often acting from a place of their own pain, insecurity, or unresolved issues. When you respond angrily or try to defend yourself, you're playing into their narrative. You're giving them what they want: your energy, your attention, and most importantly, your peace. When you remain silent, you keep your energy to yourself, refusing to let their disrespect take root within you. You prevent their actions from defining how you feel or how you react. In that silence, you protect your sense of self-worth and maintain your inner calm. There's also a level of dignity in silence. When you choose not to react to disrespect, you are showing that you are above the petty behavior of others. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need to lower yourself to their level. The more you resist the urge to respond, the more you affirm that you are a person of integrity who does not engage in drama or negativity. The more you choose silence, the more you show that you value yourself enough not to let someone else's words or actions undermine your worth. Your dignity comes from knowing that you are strong enough to walk away from the chaos without being dragged into it. This silence also protects your peace. Peace isn't just the absence of conflict. It's the ability to maintain your equilibrium no matter the circumstances. By remaining quiet in the face of disrespect, you refuse to let someone else's bad behavior disrupt your emotional balance. You refuse to let their negativity invade your inner world. Your peace becomes your own, not something that can be shaken by the actions of others. By holding your ground in silence, you refuse to be moved by their disrespect, You allow yourself to stay calm and centered, unaffected by what's going on around you. This is the true power of silence. It allows you to keep your peace in a world that often feels chaotic and unpredictable. In addition, when you stay quiet, you give the disrespectful person the space to reflect on their behavior. Often, those who act out of disrespect are unaware of how their actions affect others. They may not even realize that they are being hurtful. By not engaging, you force them to confront their own actions. Silence gives them time to reflect and, in many cases, realize that their behavior was inappropriate. The beauty of this is that you don't have to be the one to make them see it. Karma will do the work for you. Their actions will eventually come back to them, and they will face the consequences, whether they recognize it in the moment or not. Your silence, then, is an act of self-preservation. You don't need to retaliate. You don't need to prove your worth. You don't need to demand respect because your dignity is inherent. You choose to protect your peace and your sense of self by refusing to be pulled into the drama of disrespect. Your silence ensures that you remain grounded, calm, and in control, even when faced with negativity. By letting karma speak for you, you allow the universe to take care of the balance, and in doing so, you protect the most important things in your life, your dignity and your peace. Let go of the need to retaliate. Focus on what truly matters. In a world that encourages instant reactions, we are often pressured to respond when we are wronged. The natural impulse when disrespected is to retaliate, to make the person who hurt us understand the impact of their actions. This desire for retaliation often stems from a need to regain control, to protect our dignity, or to feel justified. However, holding on to that need to respond, to prove ourselves, is only draining and counterproductive. It pulls us further into a cycle of negativity and conflict, keeping us entangled in something that doesn't serve us. Instead, if we can learn to stay quiet and let karma speak, we release ourselves from the need to engage in pointless battles, and more importantly, we can refocus our energy on what truly matters. When we react impulsively to disrespect, we give the other person power over our emotions. The more we engage in their drama, the more we allow their actions to control how we feel. Retaliating doesn't change the other person's behavior or teach them anything. They may not even realize the harm they've caused. But by responding, we pull ourselves into their negativity and away from our own peace. We waste our time, energy, and mental space on someone who isn't worthy of it. Instead of nurturing our own growth, we end up feeding into the very thing that harms us. Staying quiet after disrespect is not a sign of weakness. It's a powerful act of self-restraint and emotional maturity. The choice to remain silent is a conscious decision to protect your peace, to refuse to let someone else's behavior disrupt your life. When we stay quiet, we stop allowing someone else's actions to dominate our thoughts. By not retaliating, we take back the power that was momentarily given away. In that moment of silence, we choose to focus on what truly matters: our own emotional health, our integrity, and our peace. In a situation of disrespect, we often feel that the only way to reclaim our dignity is by confronting the person who wronged us. But retaliating, whether through words or actions, rarely provides the sense of satisfaction we expect. It often just escalates the conflict, pulling both parties deeper into a negative spiral. The problem with retaliation is that it can quickly become a never-ending cycle of offense and defense, where no one actually wins. In the process, we lose sight of what truly matters: our own well-being. Retaliating doesn't help us grow. It doesn't move us forward. It just keeps us stuck in a cycle of negativity. When we choose to let go of the need to retaliate, we allow ourselves the freedom to focus on what really matters: our goals, our relationships, and our mental and emotional well-being. Staying quiet gives us the chance to step back, breathe, and gain perspective. It gives us the space to think about how we want to respond, or if we even need to respond at all. By not engaging in unnecessary conflict, we redirect our energy toward things that are more meaningful. We begin to invest in ourselves rather than wasting time and energy on someone who isn't worth our emotional investment. Letting go of the need to retaliate also allows us to break free from the desire to control the situation. Often, when we feel disrespected, we want to fix the situation or correct the other person's behavior. But this need for control only leads to frustration, as we can't change someone else's actions or mindset. By staying silent, we release the need to control the outcome. We trust that karma, the natural law of cause and effect, will handle what we cannot. We let go of our ego's desire for instant gratification and instead trust that the universe will restore balance in its own time. The more we focus on what truly matters, our growth, our peace, our relationships, the less we are distracted by petty offenses. When we stop engaging in the need to retaliate, we create room for better things to come into our lives. We begin to see that there is so much more to life than responding to every slight or injustice. There are bigger goals to pursue, deeper relationships to cultivate, and a better version of ourselves to become. By letting go of the need to retaliate, we free ourselves from the weight of resentment and bitterness that retaliation often breeds. Instead, we focus on our own path, knowing that we don't need to prove anything to anyone. Retaliation might feel good in the moment, but it is temporary. Staying quiet, on the other hand, creates lasting peace. When we let go of the need to respond, we stop allowing the disrespect to take up mental and emotional space. We move forward, knowing that karma will take care of the balance, and we can focus on what truly matters. The more we focus on our own growth and peace, the less power the disrespect has over us. So, remember this. Next time someone disrespects you, take a deep breath and let your silence be your superpower. Let karma take the wheel. Because in the end, it's not about winning the fight. It's about keeping your peace, your integrity, and your power intact. Stay quiet. Let karma do the work and watch how the universe takes care of the rest. Thank you.